It's 6:47 a.m. on the outskirts of Avdiivka. The fields are wrapped in fog, the air heavy, the kind of silence that soldiers know won't last. And then, a growl. Low, mechanical, unmistakable. A Russian T-90M Proryev tank pushes forward, treads biting into the mud. Its 125mm gun turret sweeps side to side, hunting threats that aren't there, or at least not where it expects. Inside, the crew is confident. The driver watches the horizon through reinforced optics. The gunner steadies the main cannon. The commander, perched inside the turret, trusts in the machine around him. And why wouldn't he? The T-90M is Moscow's pride, the most advanced tank it has ever built. It's bristling with defenses, thick composite armor, explosive tiles to neutralize incoming rounds, smoke launchers to blind enemy missiles, and even an active protection system designed to shoot threats out of the sky. To the Kremlin, it's the tank NATO fears. But fear works both ways. Above the tank, almost invisible against the pale morning clouds, a Ukrainian drone circles, small, silent. It costs less than the fuel inside the tank's engine, yet it carries a weapon powerful enough to kill the men inside instantly. Miles away, in a makeshift command post, Ukrainian operators huddle over monitors. Their controls are simple: a screen, joysticks, and steady hands. On thermal imaging, the Russian tank glows white-hot against the cold terrain, a perfect target. One command. The drone tilts, the payload drops. A shaped charge, no bigger than a soda can, falls silently through the mist. No roar of jets, no missile streak across the sky, just gravity. Inside the tank, the crew has no warning. The commander doesn't hear it. The gunner doesn't see it. The driver never feels it until it's too late. Impact. The charge punches straight through the thin roof armor, the weak spot every tank commander dreads. The blast ricochets inside. Ammunition ignites. Flames swallow the crew compartment. The turret jerks violently, rocking on its base as smoke and fire pour out. In less than 10 seconds, a $4.5 million war machine is reduced to a burning wreck. The crew never stood a chance. And yet, this is bigger than one destroyed tank. This is a symbol, the death of an idea. For over a century, tanks have dominated battlefields. In 1917, they rolled across no man's land, crushing barbed wire and trenches. In World War II, tanks became the hammer of blitzkrieg. German panzers blitzed through France in weeks. Soviet T-34s carried the Red Army all the way to Berlin. The Cold War only reinforced their legend. The Soviet Union mass-produced tens of thousands of tanks, ready to overwhelm NATO in Europe. For decades, the image of Russian power was a column of tanks rolling across Red Square. Even in the 21st century, tanks remained symbols of military dominance. The US M1, Abrams in Iraq, Russia's T-90s in Syria. For Moscow, tanks weren't just weapons. They were its identity. But in Ukraine, that identity is burning. Not destroyed by other tanks, not wiped out by billion-dollar fighter jets, but by drones no bigger than a suitcase. This is the brutal new math of modern war. A $2,000 drone sledder and fire millionaire-dollar tank. An operator with a joystick defeats decades of engineering. Ukraine has turned this into doctrine. At the start of the invasion, Russia had more tanks than almost anyone else on Earth. Ukraine couldn't match that with tanks of its own. So instead, they changed the game. First, they used Western-supplied javelins and NLAWs, shoulder-fired missiles that punished Russian armor in the early months. But those weapons were expensive and limited, so Ukraine pivoted. They weaponized drones. Small quadcopters carried grenades. Modified racing drones strapped with explosives dove into trenches and vehicles. Commercial drones costing just a few $1,000s became tank killers. Today, Ukrainian skies are thick with them. Recon drones mark targets. Loitering munitions circle for hours before striking. Swarms overwhelm defenses. And every day, Russia's tank losses climb higher. The T-90M was supposed to be different, resistant to missiles, resistant to sabotage. But it was never designed to fight something like this, a small, silent machine attacking from above, slipping through its only weak point. And this isn't an isolated case. Russia has already lost more than 3,000 tanks in Ukraine. That's more than the entire tank fleets of France, Germany, and Britain combined. Every destroyed tank isn't just metal lost. It's trained crews, years of doctrine, and billions in investment, all wiped out by drones that cost less than a new pickup truck. And the world is watching. In Washington, NATO commanders are pouring resources into counter-drone systems. Swarms of autonomous UAVs are being tested, designed to hunt tanks before they even fire a shot. In Beijing, military strategists are analyzing every strike. China has one of the largest tank fleets in the world. But now, it's rapidly expanding drone programs, pouring billions into AI-guided quadcopters and loitering munitions. In the Middle East, where armored warfare has dominated for decades, nations are asking the same question. If drones can shred Russia's best tanks, what does that mean for ours? Even Russia, once dismissive of drones, is scrambling to catch up. Factories are racing to mass-produce UAVs. Electronic warfare units are expanding. But the truth is hard to ignore. The myth of the invincible tank is collapsing. And for the men inside these machines, that collapse is personal. For decades, tank crews felt safe. 50 tons of steel around them. Armor designed to stop shells and missiles. They were the kings of the battlefield. Not anymore. Now every faint buzzing sound makes their blood run cold. Every shadow in the sky could be death. What once felt like a fortress now feels like a coffin. For Ukrainian fighters, drones are more than just tools. They are equalizers. They've turned an outnumbered army into a force that can strike anywhere, anytime. And for the rest of us watching from a distance, this is a glimpse into the future. Just as machine guns ended the cavalry, just as aircraft carriers ended the battleship, drones may now be ending the age of the tank. The destruction of this single T-90M isn't just another statistic. It's a signal, a warning that no weapon is invincible, that innovation will always defeat brute force, and that the wars of tomorrow won't be decided by the biggest guns, but by the smallest machines.